my hair is a mess. Like, I worked all day. It was a great day. And I was sitting here thinking, like, because you know how, like, people, like, you can be on the same wavelength, think the same thing, right? So there's that. And then there's the stalkerish kind of, like, weird, I don't even know what to call it, when people repeat the things you do and say in your home and stuff like that. They know, through pattern recognition as well as other things, you know, obviously one who is intelligent enough, and I am able to discern things that are said in my home and done in my home and somebody copying them. So my whole thought pattern it wasn't about all of that. It was the fact that somebody today mentioned something about how this person thought one thing and the other person visualized it, and it was like, well, that's cool, because I mean, that happens a lot, right? People sync up. It's not just like few people in the world, although I do speak a lot about, like, does anybody like feel like the way I do with the spirituality and the different things I've been experiencing? Because you know what, that's what I think. Most people don't think the way that I think, but I don't know. And proof of that was today when I posted something about my charging cord, putting an L and a cursive L on the carpet. And I mean, I immediately see my initial L, right? And then my friend commented that she didn't see that, and that she really wouldn't have seen that. She's like, how did you recognize that? I'm like, do most people not? I don't know what most people do or do not do. But I do know that if I talk about spirituality, the way I talk about it in my home, or with people that I can trust, despite who may or may not be listening in my home, right? Sharing it with people who I can trust, I'm losing that thought. So I'm so sorry. I want to go back to the original thought I had, and I need to dim the lights, excuse me. Okay, so the original thought that I had was, so this person repeated this like story, right? Which is cool because we all sync up. I mean, we're human. I hope we sync up. My God. My experience has been people repeat and do the things that I do in my home, right? I mean, it's highly coincidental, and this is driving me nuts. It's highly coincidental to have multiple people do it, right? That doesn't make any sense. There's no way that all these people are psyched up into my energy. It would be the other way around, because that's another interesting thing I've picked up is, I'm like, should I say it? Fuck it. It's my truth. So literally hearing people's conversations, and it's not like a delusional thing. It's not like a made up thing. If it happens to you, you'll understand and you'll know. I can't even explain it to you. It's that mind blowing, but I had not had it happen to me ever before the last couple, 2 or 3 weeks. And I can literally do the movements that people do. It's the weirdest shit I think I have ever experienced. Yeah, I don't know. And I'm trying to like back up my story, right? And it's like, well, how do you know that that's not your mind fucking with you, right? Because obviously I take gummies, but we've had this conversation and we'll have it many more times, is that the gummies lower my defenses, right? In a sense of, even though I'm already pretty tapped in, right? It just kind of lowers that inhibition. I gotta move my food home. And of course the other phone just went flying on the ground. I mean, that happens all the time. So how do you discern if it's your mind? And the way that I have been able to discern is, when you're thinking a thought, right? It's like you know, if you're doing a task and you're focusing upon that, or you're like right now, I'm thinking about, okay, I'm talking, and it's like I'm talking, but things are just naturally flowing, right? So it's kind of like that. When I'm imagining, I'm actually, I mean, it can be a channel, right? So this is tricky to explain. Let me see how I want to go about doing this. I just know. So if I am thinking a thought, it's like, I'm looking at that toaster. Okay, I'm looking at that phone that fell on the ground. It's like, these are thoughts that I'm like perceiving. When it's a channel, an intuitive thought, a massive influx of people having a conversation, it's not like I'm thinking it just comes. Like, I could be in the middle of something and it just starts, and then when I settle into it, it just continues, and it shifts very, very quickly. So please, if anybody else has experience with this, I'm serious, like, please reach out to me, like, leave a message, something, because I would love to connect with other people that can do this. I mean, this, like, it's can be, I mean, it's not scary when it's happening, it's just after, and the information that I receive, oh my God. Anyways, it's really incredible. So I would encourage anybody, if you can identify with this, please drop me a line, send me a message. Let's connect, because I don't hear people talk about this a lot. They do talk about it on TikTok, and that's where I heard of it. And I was like, oh my God, that's what I've been doing. Holy shit, right? And so why did I jump on here after all? Let me think about that. Got it. So people, there's two. I try to analyze, right, the being watched thing in a way that I don't even know I'm doing it, because I pick up on things, obviously, that my friend says most people don't. So if you guys pick up on shit like that, like an L in a carpet with a wire phone charger, let me know. Like, I see shit like that all the time. Synchronicities, like patterns, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so somebody saying something, like, I could easily link something that she said to something I have said, right? Burp confirmation. I could easily do that, but it's like, where does that discernment stop? My mind is going to information I received today. I'm gonna stay on topic as best as I can. So, like, if you like word association or something like that, typically for me, I have to be very, very careful with this process. Because, I mean, if you're not careful, there was a clip on Instagram or somewhere where this guy associated the number, I think 23, with like everything, which is true. We are all connected. Things are connected. But I think for me, to say, oh my God, there's a bottle of water on the counter, that means whatever. Or it's just, for me, it's not like that. Mine is very intuitive, and it's a gentleness. It's just a soft gentleness. And, you know, I could say it's something like a feather on the ground, right? Well, okay, well, if somebody placed that there, or if somebody dumped a fucking box of feathers on the ground and you walked by it, it's like, oh my God, a fucking bird died. Well, both can be true, right? But it's the feeling. So I don't know how else to explain it. But things that are natural, things that weren't coerced or forced or persuaded, I don't know how, I guess put a label, whatever you feel necessary. That's why I say authentic, because things that are like forced or lied, what's the word for lied? Fuck. When you tell a lie, there's another word. Anyways, moving on. So when you do that, and there's a falsehood to it, and it's not, or maybe I'm not in vibration with it, or it's not for me, right? Frequency. Maybe it's not for me. So when that happens, I can notice the pattern recognition and see a sign, but it's not an intuitive. It's not meant for me. It's maybe a sign another way. So this is how cool pattern recognition is. And I know maybe I'm jumping around a little bit. I know I'm moving the phone a lot, but I'm very uncomfortable. Hold on. Okay, so I got a little bit more comfortable. I fluffed my hair, and we're talking about pattern recognition. It's whatever. My hair is just whatever today, okay? As it probably always is. Not really worried about it. Actually, maybe I am, because I keep playing with it. I do that a lot. I know. I move. I fidget. That's me. So pattern recognition, you can mentally realize the recognition. That would be for me. What do you call that? Like childhood, like I can't think of the word. My God. Anyways, sorry. Hold on. Okay, for the 100th time, I think I have settled into a better position. But when you learn shit as a child, hypervigilance, that. So when you learn to be hypervigilant, count the number of steps people take, and I'm not saying I do that, but hearing, being aware of your surroundings without being aware, I believe it's a gift that I acquired from childhood trauma. And I didn't even know I did. So this is pretty fucking cool. When I must have been in high school, and my dad, who, I like to keep these about myself, but there was alcohol in the house, right? So, he was going to have a drink, and he hadn't been drinking. So, I was in my room, and the door may have even been shut. May not have been. That scared the shit out of me. Hang on one second. Sorry about that. This is hilarious. Maybe something doesn't want me to do this, but fuck that. I'm going on, sister. So my dad, he was having a drink, and I could hear the bottle cap of the alcohol twist off. The plastic. I mean, that's some fucking hardcore hypervigilance, but part of me listened for it. I remember part of me listened for it, and part of me was trained or intuited, whatever, I don't know, to listen for it. So like that is that's crazy, right? So we're aware of like these things, right? And then there's the intuition, right? Which we also develop from trauma. There's a lot of things I was born with. Well, next time I get up, I might take you with me, because I'm serious. This must not want to get out. And I don't think spirit would stop me, because I'm not having my spirit. Hang on. Okay, so holy crap. I had to pause that for a very long time, and I don't know where I left off. But I know that I was talking about hypervigilance, intuition. I'm having a really uneasy feeling right now. Yeah, it's very uneasy. That's why I think I keep pausing this. I need to pause this again. Holy crap, I might have to watch this video back, because I have never in my life had this happen so many times. And I think usually when it did, I would stop it. Apparently not tonight. So I don't know what this is about. I trust God. I trust me. I trust my energy. Fuck, there's something weird. There's something weird. And this is how I experienced it. This is real time for me. It's in my body. It's like from my chest down to my abdomen. My heart's beating a little quickly, and some might say, oh my God, it's the gummies. Well, it very well could be, but it's different. It's different. It's not like an anxiety. It's not like in the chest like anxiety would be. And I don't know if anxiety goes through the body. I mean, I'm not an expert, thank God, in anxiety, and I'm sorry for anybody who has to go through that. I've seen people go through anxiety. I've had anxiety. My God, it's awful. But there's people that do it on a daily basis. You know what? My body's been under a lot. And I wonder if that honestly is one of the main reasons I haven't been running. Although there's a very spiritual, intuitive side to it, and a creative side, and a healing side. There's many sides to it, but also can be true is that the PTSD that I've been going through with this whole stalking situation, and that ties into this whole conversation, is one person saying something one day, or even another person saying something another day. But when you have multiple people saying and doing actions and things that are private, whether, intellectual property on my phone, or in my home, right? It doesn't matter how I'm being stalked, because it's several different ways, right? It's not just in my home. It's my phone, I believe, has been compromised. I mean, obviously by the evidence I have, it has, right? So, I mean, what am I going to do with that? I'm not going to, it's like, I'm so curious. Like, what do you want to know about me? I mean, there's nothing I wouldn't tell you. That's the thing. I mean, you wanna dig up some dirt on me? Oh my God, I'll tell you my whole fucking story from the time I popped out of my mom's uterus till now. Like, I've got no problem and no shame, honestly. And that's saying a lot. That is saying a lot, because I think I would actually be that truthful. No fucking joke. Yeah. Because there actually isn't anything I haven't told any one person that I have done or has been done to me. Because when you go through AA, as I have, when you go through it, it's not like a graduating class. However, maybe we'll get to that in a minute. But when I did my 4th step, which is, it's been a long time. There's something about like a moral inventory, right? I know I've said it before. I wrote for hours. I dug out everything in my body and soul and everything, real or imagined, right? Because that's what they teach us. I mean, my God, my body's been so good at protecting me in so many situations. Like, I've been so guided and protected. I wanted to get everything out that I could from the darkest recesses of everywhere. And I know I went a long time about that, but that's how deeply I felt I did it. I think I had 5, minimum of 3, maximum of 5. I think it was 3. It was 3 full 5 subject Mead notebooks, college rolled. Yeah. So that, I think, says a lot about my willingness to dive in and look within self. And I'm not really sure why I started talking about the 4th step. Gosh, that really pisses me off when I do that sometimes, but I know it's for a greater purpose. But I hope this all makes sense. And I know I stopped this video so many times, so it probably looks really weird. But you know what? I still might post it anyways, because, yeah. So that, I think it ties back into, maybe, hopefully that segue ties. If not, it slams into a brick wall and goes through it and on to the next one. I know my intuition and I trust it. But sometimes, this gets in the way, right? Our imagination, our thoughts, our patterns of behavior. The mind is very tricky, but my intuition, man, it's strong, and I used to ignore it. I tell you what, I did it. I'm not going to say what I ignored, but I did ignore something, and but I'm having many more blessings because I could have had something, and this is a while back. I let it go. I knew intuitively what to do, and I chose, as often we do, right? We say, oh, and no, we don't. You hear the voice, the soft, gentle pull of a voice, right? It's guiding you, and I ignore it. I've done that for a long time, sometimes repeatedly. But then when you start to listen, when I start to listen to that voice, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And yeah, it's incredible. So I'm so grateful to be the person I am and to be sitting where I am at today. And my mind is starting to go off in several different directions. So I'm gonna say good night, and hopefully this made sense, and somebody can identify with something I've said.